What is going on, everybody? So, like it or hate it, the ABK deal has been an absolute spectacle since it was first announced. And I was one of those that came out when it was first announced, warning everybody to not get too excited too quickly because I knew it was going to be a large uphill battle, especially when it came to Microsoft battling the FTC. But since then, we've also seen other world regulators I didn't even know existed, like the CMA, get put into the whole equation as well. And now we have been seeing a complete burned out epic saga drama take place for almost a year and a half at this point. Now, for whatever reason, when we think we're on the heels of the deal becoming approved, we are seeing yet another regulator once again deciding to lose their mind and feel like they have a horse in the race. But where did we start with this whole situation? Let's just kind of rewind the tape a little bit and just kind of show everything that led up to this point, just to kind of recap the saga and all the BS that has taken place for Microsoft, and honestly, the dog and pony show and political grandstanding that has taken place with world regulators around the world. So back in December of 2022, the FTC showed interest in wanting to block the deal. They wanted to be the first ones to show any kind of ridiculing for the deal altogether. And during the pre-administrative process for them wanting to take Microsoft into administrative court, which is their own in-house court system, the administrative judge during the phone call even showed a little bit of confusion towards why the FTC is wanting to pursue this goal, because it is an absolute waste of resources, especially when he looked at the fact that other world regulators did not have as strong of concerns as the FTC at the time. But then we can see that the CMA officially blocked the deal around April 2023. So now, with the CMA causing problems with the deal, Microsoft decided to switch from playing checkers to chess and force the FTC's hand and make them make the biggest mistake they could and face public embarrassment. So Microsoft made it look like they were going to try to close the deal and deal with the CMA, but the FTC really had no idea that Microsoft was just trying to cause the FTC to panic and move the court case from the administrative court to the federal court, where Microsoft would be able to make a bigger argument and have a fair advantage of it not being in the FTC's in-house administrative court. So yes, Microsoft was able to get the FTC to play into their hands, where the FTC in June of 2023 decided to block the deal and it was dragged into federal court. Now, the whole thing was kind of done very quickly because originally ABK was supposed to be done somewhere around July 12th, 2023, which was the original deadline for the deal. And they were able to get their answer from the federal judge before that date. This is where by mid-July of 2023, the federal judge rules against the FTC in favor of Microsoft and basically stops the FTC from blocking the deal. And this is now allowed Microsoft to totally focus on the CMA, and Activision and Microsoft signed a new deal extending the deadline to October 18th, 2023. But ironically, I mean, can we even say, like, doesn't shock anybody that the FTC at the end of all the proceedings of the federal case decided to say that they were going to try to appeal the decision anyways. Now, because of Lina Khan's decisions at the FTC, she has successfully chased out opposing party members, allowing her to have free reign over the FTC and make decisions that the U.S. Congress does not agree with. This led the U.S. Congress to drag Lina Khan and the FTC before them and get questioned on why they are continuing to waste not only precious government resources, but also taxpayer dollars in their frivolous pursuit of the battle against big techs. And that's where it's kind of funny. Every big tech industry that has opposed Lina Khan has pretty much won a large number of cases. Lina Khan has actually a very large losing track record. And to this date, her only largest win was the win against Epic Games, where apparently Epic Games is not preventing people from spending money when it came to minors, and therefore they have to give better control to parents to stop minors from spending money. And she slapped Epic Games with one of the biggest fines that were ever seen in the video game industry. Watching the whole thing take place with Lina Khan in the US Congress was absolute fun. And at the end of the ordeal, Lina Khan found out that the US Congress felt that she is wasting taxpayer dollars and resources, and so therefore the FTC's request to raise their budget to fight Microsoft and other big tech battles was denied. And also another penalty was that not only did they not get a bigger budget, but their budget was slashed, making it to where they did not have as much money as they did the year before to continue down this road of fighting losing court battles. To really take the wind out of the FTC's sails altogether, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in California at the beginning of August decided to rule against the FTC's appeal of the federal court case, and this at this point now allowed Microsoft to pursue the deal even further, preventing the FTC from having any real legal advantage going on into the future. This now leads us to the beginning of September, where we officially find out that Microsoft, in a chance of trying to deal with the CMA, wants to sell the cloud streaming distribution rights for Activision titles to Ubisoft, and this will allow any competitor in the streaming market to have access to these games if they so want. And this also includes putting them on platforms they've never been on before. So this is a totally pro-competitive move to allow Activision games to be able to reach a wider, broader audience of players. When the CMA decided to block the deal back in April, we saw that there was a huge backlash from the tech industry, where a lot of companies felt that the UK market was completely closed to big tech innovation and investment because the CMA was a little bit out of control. Now, this allowed the UK Parliament and CAT, the control group for the CMA, to put immense pressure on the CMA to reconsider their stance on the decision against the deal. And they took another look at the whole thing. And now, because of Microsoft's move to try to involve Ubisoft, the CMA is kind of foolhardishly trying to pretend that this is a whole new deal when that's absolutely furthest from the truth, at least in my opinion. But now, because of them treating it like a new deal, they are able to kind of start showing signs that they are in support for the restructured divestment of Activision titles to Ubisoft when it comes to cloud streaming. Now, the CMA still has to deliver its final verdict in early October, and they are allowing players in the industry and the public weigh in on the new restructuring of the deal. But this has led economic analysts to be completely shocked because they thought for sure that this deal was dead when the CMA first blocked and then the FTC blocked. But as we have seen through the perseverance of Microsoft and their legal team, that they were able to resurrect this deal and get it even closer to the finish line, with the potential that it is now going to cross that finish line. And all the economic analysts are completely shocked. Even Michael Pachter himself said that this was a great surprise and that the FTC at this point would be completely foolhardy to even try to oppose the deal any further. But boy, are we about to be shocked. Just a few days after the CMA came out saying that they are showing a little bit more support to the deal and potentially going to approve it after the new restructuring, the FTC decides to come out and say that they want to take advantage of their rights to still have their administrative case, regardless of what the federal judge said and the Court of Appeals said. They feel that 21 days after the Federal Court of Appeals delivers their final verdict on denying the FTC their appeal, they should have a right to still drag Microsoft in front of the administrative judge. Now, this is where it gets funny. This whole process is going to start with an evidentiary hearing where the FTC has to provide evidence on why they have a legal leg to stand on preventing Microsoft from having the ABK deal. And this is in front of the same administrative judge that showed concern and confusion 8 months ago that the FTC was actually wasting resources and the time of the FTC courts on a deal that didn't look like it was anti-consumer and was also going to be a very losing battle for the FTC legal team. Now the FTC finds itself in a point where they have no support left in world regulators and battling Microsoft. They have little to no funds and resources left to even fuel their campaign against Microsoft. And even Lulu Chang put on her Twitter feed that the FTC is free to use their limited resources as they see fit, but they will definitely fight them every bit of the way. And during all this, the FTC continues to ignore bigger consumer issues like what's going on at Amazon and other companies that are making large anti-competitive moves. Before anybody thinks that the FTC at this point can stop the deal, they can't. They actually have no legal right to block the deal whatsoever. They lost that day in court with the federal judge and the appeals court judge. And the only thing they can do at this point is try to get their day in court. Now, that day in court is probably more than likely going to take place after Microsoft closes the deal with ABK. So the only thing they can do at this point is ask the administrative judge to give them the legal right to force Microsoft to unwind the ABK deal. I really can't honestly see the FTC being able to pull this one off even in their own administrative court, because they have lost so many battles over the past couple of years, and the fact that they don't have as disposable income as Microsoft does in fighting these legal battles. But we only can just sit back, eat our popcorn, and spectate to the circus that is the ABK deal. Please, everybody, to stay informed with the ABK deal, and if you enjoyed today's content, like, subscribe, comment down below, all that fun stuff that YouTube likes to see to help my channel grow. And as always, the end card on this video, be sure to watch my latest video, check out my playlists, and explore my channel overall. I am Centurion1307, and I thank you for watching.